I'm going to do a review on Sugihara bars. That's the last one I bought. I had to retire it. The tip was good yet, but the bar itself, it got a crack right here. So if you would flex and twist it, it'd get a little funky on you. And it finally cracked through the other side. It had some chips in the rails. They never affected anything. It's still oiled really good. The inserts never fell out of it. And I can't even tell you how much wood that bar has saw. It's an unimaginable amount of wood that thing's been through. That's the second tip that it had put on it. And there's still a lot of life left in it yet. And if I had more rivets, I'd take those rivets out and I'd put this tip back on another bar in a heartbeat. These tips last 10 times longer than any other bar tip I've ever used. That is no joke. I've had Oregon bars brand new that I've went out. We had a first dusting of snow and I blew the tip in the first cut after the tree hit the ground. I've had tips blow within a few hours on Oregon bars. I've had them last a few months, but this here tip would outlast a dozen Oregon bar tips. That's no exaggeration. Even steel bar tips and the other brands. This bar alone has surpassed the amount of wood I've put on quite a few bars altogether. And the reason why I wanted to do this review today is because this thing's hit a milestone here. I bought this saw and that bar together from Charlie Stahl out in New York. He's got a saw shop up there. And the milestone that it's hit, that I've put 100 gallons of gas through that saw and through that bar. And that's what the bar looks like after 100 gallons of gas put through it. This irregular color here is just a coating that is wearing off. This bar had it too, but it's obviously seen a lot more use to where more of the coating's worn off. That is the original tip yet, and I do a lot of bore cutting. Probably right now I'm doing 100% bore cutting on all my trees because I'm cutting all hardwood and oak right now. And there's no chipping on this one here or cracks or anything of the such yet. You wouldn't even know it was used other than looking at it. These bars last forever. Pocket wise, they cost a little bit more to buy, but longevity wise, you're not sticking money into things that don't last. These last a long time. And as a logger, with the economy and the way things are right now, you gotta stretch your pennies as far as you can, and sure, you spend a little bit more to begin with, but in the end you're actually saving a lot of money. So I'll continue using Sugihara bars. Somebody posted these ones here for sale. They're gonna need some tips put on them here, I would think, because they got all rusty. They are free. They're not too bad, but I would think it'd probably be good to put some tips on them. I would imagine they'll last a little while, but I keep them stocked for just in case. But these are 24-inch light bars. Put that one over there. These are 24-inch light bars, and as you can see, the bars themselves don't have that much use on them, so I should be good for quite some time to come. But the tips, they were sitting in a bucket, and I freed them up. Maybe they'll last a while. But that's not the bar's fault, that's operator's fault. That's what happens when people neglect stuff. It's not the company's fault. But these bars right here last me a long time. The only thing is I don't really use 24-inch bars for much, so other than a special occasion, I just usually run only 20. In Wisconsin here, if you can't if you can't cut the tree down around here with a 20-inch bar, it's probably not marketable anyways. So it's about all a guy needs. You can cut a monster down with a 20-inch bar regardless, so that's all I run. And the saw, that's got the 100 gallons on it also, and if you look at it, she's showing some wear and tear. I gotta clean it off from using it today before I run it tomorrow. I got some big trees to cut. But I do my saw maintenance daily, go through my bar and chain, file my chain up, get everything ready for the next day. Every day after I'm done using it, but that's the wear for 100 gallons of gas. It still looks pretty decent yet. I mean, it gets used. It's a professionally used saw, so it gets used. It's not going to be pretty. I do take care of my stuff. And that's my livelihood right there. So you got to take care of your livelihood and use what works best for you. So that's my review on Sugihara products. And I mean, if I hadn't started running Sugihara, I don't know, I'd still be replacing tips all the time, I'm sure, and that gets old. Downtime gets old fast. So you want something that's you can depend on and last you a long time with no downtime, no maintenance. The rails hardly ever have to be dressed. They never really wear. They don't get no lips on them. Usually you'll get a lip on the edge of the rail. They don't ever hardly need to be dressed, and less maintenance is key at the end of the day. You can spend more time doing other things than working more, I guess you could say. So that's that. Appreciate you watching the video. If you haven't tried Sugihara, I suggest you do. Thanks for watching.